All right, next up, Charlotte. And as we say right now, if you look at the polls, and Andrew broke them down, even with the bump, right now it's Romney within the margin of error, but up a couple points. And Josh, we saw the cover of Time magazine, and they had a long-form interview with President Obama. No earth-shattering ideas what he'll do in the next 4 years if elected. He talks about keeping taxes low for 98% of Americans, making less than $250,000, more energy investments, healthcare reform on the budget, balance. But he also had a harder tone. And I wonder if that you think that's going to come across. He even said he might try to have basically repeal Citizens United and go state to state, even if he thinks it won't happen. How does that get communicated, if at all, you think, in Charlotte?
Well, I think the challenge in Charlotte is how negative do you go? And in particular, David Axelrod today was telling reporters they're going to talk a lot about Bush economics, but not about George Bush personally. Well, that's a difficult line, but it's an important line because it would be a mistake for the president to pretend that the economy is fixed. Instead, you have to be able to talk about why the Republicans would make it worse, the way that people have gotten in the way, and what it was like when we had an economic policy like the one that Mitt Romney was putting out there.
Do that because people don't want, I think, to hear excuses, legitimate ones, albeit they don't want to hear it. They're going to say whine, whine, whine. You had your chance for 4 years. Why is it going to be different if I give you 4 more? Does he have to be, in effect, does he have to be more on offense than even Romney was to say, this is why I deserve 4 more? Romney just got to point and say, I'm better than the other guy.
It's a bind. And like Mitch McConnell is one of the really underappreciated strategists. He figured out if you block everything, the blame still is going to land mostly on the president. And so that's the situation he's in.
An indictment on our political system. You got any ideas, Adam, what we're going to hear next week?
We're going to hear the president saying that he delivered and that everything he couldn't deliver is because of the Republican Party. So they do find themselves in a bind, but he's going to say, I would have changed America. Yep. I would have delivered on everything I promised. They wouldn't let me.
Medicare, right now it's been defined for him, but since Ryan, in effect, like in the courtroom, basically opened the door here, do they do fact-checking next week on Ryan, or do they say, this is what he'll do to you? Does he basically, do what Romney did to him this week on the economy, but do it to him on Medicare?
I think you may get a little bit of fact-checking from some of the surrogates, but I think it's actually going to be a fairly similar convention to what we just saw in Tampa, and I think we're looking at fairly similar campaigns and campaign strategies all the way here. I mean, Obama, if you look at the state-by-states, has the inside track. And we really need a wave for Mitt Romney.
Frank, I got 10 seconds. Do we get hope and change and happy Obama? Do we get angry Obama? And does he call people out by name?
What the president should do in his convention speech is treat it like a State of the Union. What's the agenda for the next 4 years? And that let Bill Clinton, one of the greatest orators of the 21st century, let him go negative. Let him attack Bushonomics. Let him attack the Republicans. Exactly.
Right. Okay. Now, you, of course, can watch live coverage of the DNC next week right here on RNN and FiOS 1 News. We're going to be in Charlotte Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. We'll be with all the big policymakers from our region and around the country. All right, coming up next, everybody, we'll be talking about what both Obama and Romney camps need to do from now till November to win the White House. Even after the conventions, what are their closing arguments? We'll get into that. Stay with us.